Sylvain, we'll start with you. You've stuck with the same driver lineup as last season. How did you come to this decision? It felt like there was maybe some decisions to be made with a few clashes there. And also, what do you expect of your driver lineup this year?
Hello everyone, first. Great to see Yvonne here in this venue. I'm a big... it would be a very long answer if I gave you all the reasoning behind it. There are a lot of factors behind it. But at the end of the day, we have a great driver lineup. I'm fully convinced more than ever of their capabilities and their talent. And also we have a lot of new things happening in Gen 3 Evo. It's an Evo, but it's a big one with the tires and all-wheel drive and so on. And I think on our side it's quite important as a customer team, with a little bit less testing than the manufacturer teams. It's important to have some stability on some aspects and benefit from their very strong technical feedback and technical development. So there's more to it, but that's in a nutshell.
Thank you for the abbreviated answer there. I appreciate that. And obviously last season was less successful than you would have hoped for. How are you going to get back to fighting at the front like you were at the start of the Gen 3 era?
Yeah, we'll see how the season pans out. As always in Formula E, we say that every year, so it sounds repetitive, but it's true. It is so competitive. And you saw last year in season 10, it was probably the most competitive in terms of how close it was. Like, I remember us making the duels by usually thousands, like less than tenth or hundredth, so even closer than usual. So there was this minuscule margin that we were missing at some races, and that makes the difference between starting in a top 6, top 8, or starting at the back. So yeah, that was a challenge. But this new season is gonna throw new challenges, as I said. There are a lot of new parameters on the software, on the controls with the all-wheel drive, and the tires are completely different. And again, not making excuses, but we have to learn very quickly as a customer team. So we did that pretty well in season 9. So we need to repeat that. I have broadly the same team and the same driver lineup and so on, so we can do it again. But yeah, I expect a very competitive season again, but a very steep learning curve for everybody, but especially for customer teams. So it's going to be interesting.
You speak of a steep learning curve. Obviously, you have the women's test tomorrow, and you have two drivers with a differing level of experience. Alice Powell, very experienced, with Alicia Palmowski, one of the sort of rising young stars at 18 years old. What have you said to them to prepare them for this test, and what are you expecting from both drivers in the women's test tomorrow?
Yeah, they've arrived last night or today. Alice, obviously, we know very well. She has a role in the team anyway, and will continue to do so. Alicia, much more new to this, but I think it's an exciting opportunity. We are not going to it's a new test. It's a really big challenge for them. They're arriving at a track they don't know, with a car they don't know. So it's a big challenge, but for us, it's really about judging how they work with the team and learning about the car and so on. Formula E is so specific as motorsport, as we know. So trying a new car on a new track is a challenge anyway. But in Formula E, you have so much more to look at it. Like our driver manual is probably one of the longest driver manuals you can see in motorsport. So a lot to learn, but it's really exciting, and it's I think it was discussed earlier, it's a first step, it's a starting point. It's really great to give them the platform, really great to give them the opportunity, and it's the first step of many, and we'll see in the future where that leads us. But it's a really great thing to do. We are really happy to be there, for them to be here, and we're excited by it.
And we look forward to it. Thank you very much, Sylvain. We'll move on to you, Phil. You came into the team not at the start of last season, so obviously you don't have the pre-season. How important is it this time around, especially with the changes we've already discussed, that you have that kind of full pre-season going into this season?
Sure, it's definitely a big help to instead of being parachuted straight into a race, to be able to go to some tests, do some more simulation, work with the drivers on the simulator, and then come to a race. So that's a much nicer ramp in. Does it change much? It just means we're a bit more prepared as a group, but the group were already there doing their thing, so they didn't need me to come in and tell them to do anything different. So we were in good shape last year. It just means we've got a bit more time to put the kind of jigsaw piece puzzles in place that we want to make really the team the way we want it to work, and we've done that now, so it'll settle and it'll go forward that way.
This might be a difficult question, but I'm going to ask you anyway. It must be quite tough to see your previous team win both the manufacturers and the team's championship last season, but also that I imagine must spur you on to get some more success with DS Penske.
Do you know, I'm totally conflicted in what you said there, because that was a group I was heavily involved with, that was a car I was heavily involved with, so I took a lot of pride out of it doing well. But the moment I changed colours, I put a different shirt on, I felt like I have to try and beat those guys. You know, they're good guys and girls. I know exactly what we've done there. It's all good. But I want to come and do that, recreate something better where I am now, and I want to beat that car. But it takes time, so you have to be patient, you have to know what your process, and you have to start to deliver on that. So I'm in a really exciting bit. I know that's a good set of people, I know that's a really good car, and a lot of the building blocks that are in place there will continue that to be like that for a good amount of time. So it's difficult, but we're building ourselves now, and that puzzle I talk about is starting to come together. We're getting some good people, we're starting to put the process in place. So you have to believe in what you do, and it will follow through. And I'm really enjoying that process now in a different place. The shirt fits quite well, so we enjoy it.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. Maximilian Gunther's obviously come into the team. We know that he knows how to win races, 5 Formula E races under his belt. Great victory last year in Tokyo. How much input did you have on that signing? And what is it you like about Maximilian as a driver?
So first of all, we had absolutely fantastic drivers last year. Stoffel was the most amazing driver, really great to work with, XF1 driver, very, very fast, and on his day, super capable of winning a race. So really difficult to wave goodbye to somebody that good. However, what we have with Max is, as you know, the youngest FE winner, so bright talent. He came through with Jay before, through that process. He worked with Jay as a team owner in the past. So we were really excited in a group to see that journey through. Young guy came in with the most amazing talent, and we wanted to see that deliver, and we're really keen to see that in the car. So super excited to do that. So that's one of the big motivators for getting him into the car. But when you get hold of him, and I always have a bit of it between us here, obviously don't tell the rest of the world, like you guys do as a profession, but I have this real tendency to give nicknames to the drivers. I worked with John-Eric Verne in the past, and he was always the lion. When he's in the car, he comes alive. He's a race day animal. He became the lion for me. What you get with Max is a professor of the sport. That's what I've nicknamed him. He studies, he works hard. There's this most amazing approach to how he goes racing. So what we've got is really good complementary characters, complementary skill sets, and approach to the team. So each of them gets different things out of us as a group of people. That makes me really excited. It means we bring together a blend of people that help the group as a whole go through it. And that's the big excitement for me.
So we have the Lion and the Professor. Do we have any driver nicknames with your driver lineups at all?
I can do nicknames for their ones if you want.
No, I'm sure you've got your own nicknames, yeah.
I do Sheldon.
Private.
Not really.
Okay. Top secret. Phil, thank you very much. Florian, I'm going to read this out here. You won the Drivers' World Championship last year. You crossed the line in first place in half of last season's races as a team. 7 wins, a couple more podiums as well. That's pretty impressive. How confident are you can top that going into season 11?
Yeah, it was an impressive season, especially impressive end of the season with the final races in London, where we executed very well, and also Pascal with the pressure yet clear. In this series, with this high level of competition, the success in the past is not granted in the future. Therefore, heads down, maximum focus on yourself, put the package together, develop and try to find the potential or to secure the potential you have still left there. And this in all areas, in the hardware development, and make the next steps in the software, and put also the team together, reduce your weaknesses and rely on your strengths, and then we will see. But it's a new season, a new homologation. The field can be reshuffled, the order, and as said, the success from the past is not it's not relevant.
Fresh piece of paper. I think we have the strongest driver lineup that Formula E has ever seen, and obviously Pascal's had that championship winning season, while Antonio won 4 races, showing he's more than deserving of a seat in your team. What are you asking of your drivers? Because obviously they're already performing at such a high level. What is it you ask them going into season 11?
For me, always a complete driver is the target. Complete driver, I mean, the skills he has for a single lap, how he goes racing, to understand the race situations, to make the moves when it's needed, and to behave clever. And there the target is clearly to extract everything consistently over the whole season. And when you see where we came from and which weaknesses we had still in season 9, especially also on Pascal's side in qualifying, where he made a big step forward with the tire understanding and single lap performance last year, being the driver most time in the duels. And on Antonio's side, his racecraft is unbelievable, especially on the peloton races, how he judges situations, how he progresses, and how he takes the wins in this kind of races. And from him, I clearly ask more consistency in qualifying. We are on a good way, what he's showing in testing. And these are the targets to perform both consistent in all kind of races.
I've seen a lot of the feedback of the purple on your car. Very, very positive. People are loving it. Obviously, there's a lot more to the car than just the livery. What are some of the challenges you've had already this week in testing with the Gen 3 Evo car?
Overall, I have to say I cannot complain that much. Test is running well. Test program conducted as planned, and we run through our programs. Clearly, the big challenges are the new tires, to understand our new homologation of the powertrain, to adapt everything on the controls and software side. And then we will see this afternoon also to race first time with that car, how everything behaves in slipstream and so on. Then that's the last thing to be ticked, and then we are well prepared to go to Sao Paulo.
Excellent, we look forward to it. We have time for a couple of questions. Anyone that's not asked a question already, I'll pass the mic across. Here we go.
Nick Golding, Race News 365. Question for Florian and for Phil. Obviously, some big news that broke ahead of this test was Nissan and Jaguar breaching the cost cap. With your teams being big rivals to both of them, do you believe the punishment went far enough?
I'll let you go with that one first, Florian.
I listen to you, I prefer.
I think it's a tricky one for us to judge. It sounds like they're very minor breaches, first of all, and it's the first year that you've come into that big change in regulation. So I think it's really difficult to assess that from the outside. I genuinely don't think that there's a significant advantage at all in what's happened there. So I'm just interested in wanting to beat the guys in a fair playing field, and I think we had that. So I think you have to trust that the FIA do their job well, and they do. And I think that's probably my conclusion. I think it's okay.
Yeah, I can only add when you see how small the cost cap and the budget in Formula E is compared to other series where the cost cap is in place. We can have significant things when you have big crashes, which have a big influence on the cost cap side. In these two cases, as I understood the records and anything, minor breaches without gaining an advantage due to the fact it was the first year and what happened to breach in this cost cap situation. We saw a financial penalty, which is a fine, and a sporting penalty. For the first year, you can say it's quite harsh. On the other side, clearly the other fulfilled the cost cap. Therefore, I will also agree to Phil. FAA is in place to do the audits, to control everything. Gives also confidence that they see things and what's happening, and they're in place to put out the penalties and fines. And there we have full trust that they have all parameters on the table and consider why, what happened, and what the result is. There we fully support what happened.
Jack Pickering, a Formula E Zone. And my question is to Florian. You've now got 6 Porsche powertrains on the grid, albeit the 2 Kiro ones are the Gen 3, not the Gen 3 Evo. Is there anything that you can still learn from the Kiro powertrains to progress yours and Andretti's powertrains, and vice versa? Is there anything that you can do with your powertrains that can keep Kiro? Well, they're quite quick at the moment.
Yeah, first of all, we could learn how we stretch the resources at home between London and now, because this was a huge project. It's a big effort, first of all, to supply 6 cars clear, and it was a short-term project. This means everybody did extra work at home, and they have to say thank you, because what the guys at home and the whole people involved in the project did is outstanding. That we have now here 6 cars running, but clear, it's our Porsche 9X World Championship Gen 3 car, which was winning the 2 last driver titles in the last 2 seasons. Successful car, we can be proud of it, that it gets an extra lap, 1 more homologation cycle. running on track. But clearly the target is to learn from each other as much as possible. It's a new team. We need to get to know each other. Every team has different strengths, different weaknesses. Everybody can learn from each other, and this will be the target for the future. But first of all, we need to get everything running and racing, and then let's see in which areas we can profit for each other. But first of all, it's a huge additional effort for a manufacturer to have 2 different powertrains in the field, supporting them and making sure that from legality, adapting to the new regulations, everything is running well.
Nice shirt, Jack, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Nearly as good as the question.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I appreciate it.